Now, these temporary agreements avoid what could be a lingering trade war. And Chief Business Correspondent Taylor Young joining us here to talk about all this and take a deeper dive into this, because the last couple of days, Taylor, has just really been a whirlwind. A lot of people just kind of pausing and figuring out, what does this mean? So when you talk about these recent developments for the potential of tariffs, what can you tell us moving forward that we can expect?
Well, I think the biggest question still remains. Are these tariffs actually going to be implemented or not? It's on the top of mind for many people. But, you know, we are, as you mentioned, in this 30-day kind of cool down period as those negotiations continue. But I think if these last 48 hours have really kind of taught us anything, it's that the Trump administration appears to be getting what it wants by threatening these tariffs, and that's cooperations with these other countries, especially our neighbors, Mexico and Canada. And we saw that with a social media post that the president made yesterday, saying, quote, "I am very pleased with this initial outcome." But I think that this all kind of leads to a bigger question here: is what is the motivation behind all of this? Is this an economic issue or is this a political one? And I think that we can kind of look at what's happening between Mexico and the U.S. as an indication here. So the Trump administration from the very beginning has threatened a 25% tariff on all imports coming in from Mexico, with concerns about illegal immigration and drug trafficking as the main reason. Well, just yesterday, we know the country's president agreed to send 10,000 soldiers to the border to address those very issues, and that's on top of the thousands of troops that are already there. Now, economists believe that this was really the goal all along, to use the implication of tariffs not for economic benefits, but to address the border.
He never said that this was about an imbalance of trade between the U.S. and Canada or U.S. and Mexico. He said this was about border security. And this is the stick that I'm playing to get you to help us improve border security. And so in the case of Mexico, which now we find out the tariffs have been postponed, and I think that's what Trump wanted all along.
All right, so Taylor, since I have you here, if these tariffs are implemented, I think a lot of Americans want to know, what is this going to look like moving forward? Yesterday, Derek Dillinger really focused on looking at housing, and today I really want to ask you, what does this look like for the grocery store, or what we can be able to see, for just the everyday American? What can we expect?
Yeah, while our economists don't believe that this might be an economic issue, it absolutely has those ripple effects. We could potentially be seeing prices skyrocket very, very quickly. The U.S. Department of Agriculture kind of put together a list of all of the top imports that we get from Canada and Mexico. I mean, it's a laundry list of foods and products. I mean, let's just start with Mexico. We're talking about avocados, beer, beef, fresh fruit and vegetables. I mean, these are items that are on everyone's list when they go grocery shopping. And if we look at Canada, we're looking at processed fruits and veggies, frozen French fries, chocolate, pork, and vegetable oil. So, I mean, if you are an average American out there that's kind of already struggling with high inflation, I mean, we could be looking at prices that are increasing if these tariffs are implemented.
Yeah, and then outside of the grocery store and your reporting that you've been doing, your research, anything else that you found that really stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, this is really kind of across the board, especially on those high-priced items, like cars is a big one. We mentioned
parts.
Yeah, Derek Dillinger talking about the housing market and the building supplies. Of course, we already know that Americans are struggling right now to afford housing. If you make building homes more expensive, that, of course, is going to impact prices. We're also looking at fuel and washing machines. I mean, I visited a local shop just a couple of weeks ago. They fix washing machines and dryers, and they were already just in preparation of this increasing prices, just because they had to pre-order a lot of their parts just in case these prices did increase. So, this is absolutely something that we're going to be keeping an eye on. I mean, it's going to be very telling within the next 30 days with these negotiations going on, really what's to come.
Yeah, so important. And your in-depth reporting is so on point. If you want to be able to check out any of Taylor's stories, you can always go to our website at qcnews.com. Taylor, thank you so much. Appreciate that.